My name is Franklin Edochie. I'm a Senior Vice President with the Africa Finance Corporation, enacting head metals and mining sector. Some of the projects that we are looking at in the critical minerals sector are copper, nickel, rare earths, graphite, and manganese, all across sub-Saharan Africa, west, south, central, east as well. A lot of these projects have gotten towards the bankability stage and need to leapfrog into the construction stage and need the advances of financing advances to help them get there. They require financing solutions from an equity and debt perspective, and AFC is willing to provide play across the capital structure to make sure these projects are built on time and within budget. The key message there was for us for financial partnerships that we need to do in order to kickstart this sector. It's very important that the African DFIs, African Regional Financial Institutions, the international commercial banks, Africa-based international commercial banks, along with their regional and local branches, do participate in quite a lot of these projects. They need capital from an equity and debt perspective, and we'll require these financial partnerships amongst ourselves to ensure that they get developed. Secondly, we also need regional partnerships within the government, between our governments, regional or regional integration, to make sure we're able to add value and beneficiate our natural resources on the continent. Yes, we may not have the technology here, but we can get into the partnerships to get that and develop that technology. It's all about having the focus and having dedicated R&D to make sure that we get there. So partnerships, I can't spell enough in terms of from a technical and financial basis, are very important. We have a very simple yardsticks. We look at the sponsors, we look at the developments that are taken on the project. So if it's on the principal investment side, we tend to look at what feasibility studies have been done, the level of the feasibility studies, and what needs to be improved. We look at what you've done on the environmental and social side. What's your community development strategy? What is your local content strategy in addition to the local content policy? Because as we all know, all of this together are important to the sustainability of mines, which play a critical role from a social and environmental perspective in the countries that they operate in. The thing with mining is it's very personal. Like people can feel and touch it. You can see it. If you're operating a gold mine, your project affected communities can see the operations. They can feel the operations. They get affected by the operations. So how you tend to manage all your stakeholders, be it the community, the capital, the federal government, it's very important, etc. So we look at a whole host of things, but those are the key factors that we do. But one of the most important is also where you are on the cost on the quartile. Because of the lack of infrastructure in Africa, it's very important that our mines stay in a very low quartile because the commodity markets are very cyclical. And that ensures that you're able to survive whenever you have a depressed commodity market, which is also the reason why we mentioned that you should projects start looking at being beneficiating on the continent in order to sustain and operate in a long-term sustainable manner. So I would say it's a combination of both, but even in the situations where they meet the criteria, whether it's financial criteria, etc., mining projects are still starving capital. I mean, capital is just not there, especially for junior miners. And this is not just isolated to Africa operators. It's the same for North America, it's the same for Europe, it's the same for basically almost the junior mining space. Investors have gotten very comfortable with just investing in an index, an S&P, or your big techs. So because of that, to allocate capital to the mining sector is quite challenging. But we have a mandate in the AFC to develop Africa, so we have to allocate to the sector. Wherein the criteria has not been met, which might be from the feasibility or the level of studies, we do have a project development arm within the AFC that is able to get sponsors and their projects to that level that can attract capital. So those are the two areas that I'll look at. It's that we are there for the right projects, and then for projects that still need to be developed to the right criteria as far as the principles are ticked, our project development arm can definitely look at it. Well, I always used to, I used to attend the African Energy Week. We also attend the mine in Indaba, but this is the first one that is fully dedicated to critical minerals. Yes, it's very early stage, but there's quite a bit of growth. A lot of the financial institutions that would like to partner with are already attending this. So it's sponsors have also started attending. I think there's also a smaller circle that we can hear the projects and get to feel a lot more, get closer to sponsors, get closer to financing partners um, in a similar way that we used to do in African Energy. So we would definitely look forward to the growth of this over the next couple of years and will continue to be an active participant and supporter.